ask me if my books are autobiographical, and I say no. I say I only write fiction. I can kind of work anywhere as long as there's writing to be done. I sort of am quite nomadic, so I move around a lot. And actually, I don't know, but the best place I ever wrote was in a conservation camp for elephants in Laos, and that's where I finished the first draft of my third book. I had been given room and board in exchange for doing some writing for a sort of exhibition they wanted to do. So I would work on my book in the morning, and I would work on biographies of the elephants who lived in the camp in the park in the afternoons. I wouldn't say that there's something spiritual in my writing, but I would say that I use my writing to be more than what I am. And I think probably that's a kind of spirituality, just to look for something more than I've experienced or will experience. So Canada, I think, has shaped my writing probably in more ways than I am conscious of. I think it's a good place to be a writer. It's just, there's a lot of room, there's a lot of space, there's a lot of generosity of spirit, and I feel there's an openness to many kinds of stories because it's a country that it's a country of multiple cultures, multiple identities, and it's not fixed. And I think writing in a place that's not fixed is fixed in the mind, fixed mythology. I think there's freedom in that, and I think that probably pervades all of my work. The background of my parents has shaped my writing a lot. My mother's from Hong Kong and my father's from Malaysia. And both my siblings were born in Malaysia, and I was born just a few months after my parents arrived in Canada. And for me, the country of origin, the country that my parents talked about, the old country, was really a mysterious place for me. And I was always, I always endowed it with this sort of very special quality because it was the place that my siblings and my parents knew, but that I didn't. And so for me, it was something in the mind, not a physical reality. And I always looked for it. It's kind of strange to say, but I always looked for it in my family, like when they talked about what life had been like before, or what they no longer were, what they no longer had. And I had this tendency, I think, when I was a child, to attribute all the sadness that they had to the loss of this country that I'd never seen before, which was Malaysia. So I think it was bigger in my mind than it was in the minds of my siblings. And it's a funny thing that though they were born there, I'm the one that actually goes back even. I go back every year to that part of the world, and I spend a lot of time there. So I think it's pervaded all of my work. A writer is someone who writes.